Hi everyone. Thank you for having me and for coming. It's good to see you. I'm Daniel, usually referred as this small guy who stutters, which is fine and first of all true. But besides that, I do design systems and product design. I talk here and there, as you can see. I'm a content creator, design ops, and Figma freak. Nice to meet you all. I believe you are all here with me today because you would like to know the answer to the question, is 1 year of design tokens really worth it? For me, the journey started around 1 year ago, so in June 23, when Figma variables got released. I didn't know much about them before, so over the year I was simultaneously learning them and trying to use them whenever I had the opportunity. And throughout that journey, I've collected some kinda nice and kinda stinky experiences. And I want to tell you about them right now. So, as you can see on the agenda, 3 cool benefits, 3 alerting red flags, and of course, conclusion at the end. Before we start, I've got one important disclaimer to say. Everything I'm about to say and show to you is based on my experience. So the experience of a designer within a bigger agency. Your perception of this topic can be the same, slightly different, or way different if you are working in a different environment, such as directly inside a product, or as a freelancer, or whatever. So keep that in mind and use your own judgment on top of my story if needed. Yeah, so let's go with the first cool benefit about design tokens. Why do I think that going with design tokens can be a good idea? Because they are an easy gateway to high-end design systems. If you are looking for a method to manage your design system foundations that is relatively easy to learn and execute, you may give tokens a try. They unlock tons of potential for advanced solutions while keeping the base simple. Nowadays, there are countless of really great resources to learn what this is all about. The entry barrier is probably lower than ever before because Figma supports everything natively without custom plugins or hacky stuff. The only things you really need are some spare time and will to learn. That's all. I've got both of these, so time and will to learn, and I gave them a shot. At first, it scared me because I opened a thick book with long chapters called Core Methodology Concepts, Primitives and Semantics, Levels of Abstraction, Cross-platforming, Dependencies, Version Controlling, Documentation, Automation, Governance, and so on and so forth. And I, obviously, instantly felt overwhelmed. But I wasn't discouraged enough to drop it, so I kept reading and learning. The only way forward. And after some time, I've discovered that after those scary words lie the really cool, well-thought, almost straightforward methodology that was just satisfying to learn and experiment with in the long run. I just had to give it some time. What is more, thanks to Figma variables, I didn't need to manually visualize all of the details and connections and stuff. I could read about something and test this out almost instantly in Figma. Now, I can say, with no doubt in my mind, that my tokenized colors, typography, breakpoints, corner radiuses surprised me with how powerful they've become, yet being still so simple and bulletproof. And while having them as a base, I could try to do even cooler things on top of them. But, the first but of today's talk. To not make it so sweet and perfect, I want to admit that design tokens require deep collaboration with your team. And I know what some of you may be thinking right now, how collaboration can be a bad thing exactly. Well, first of all, you need people. People that want and can work with you on the design system foundations, preferably other designers and some developers. Secondly, those people need to have time and no other bigger priorities on their plate. Otherwise, they won't contribute much. And lastly, it would be great to include some people of power, such as leads, heads, maybe even C-levels, because they usually have the last word about anything and can influence the process or decisions. So if you feel that for any reason it may be difficult to achieve, in your case, to check all of those 3 requirements, maybe tokens are not for you at this time, of course. As you can guess, I experienced all of it the hard way. Back in June, I was learning and testing out tokens in my Scratchpad, mostly after work. And after some time, I wanted to ask my team to maybe incorporate some of my discoveries into our system. I got the approval. Token system has been created, but we didn't ship it. It got lost in linear, as you can see on the slide. And now I know exactly why. One, I've been working on it in isolation, so no one really was either interested or with enough time to make it a collaborative task. Two, none of the decision makers has been included in the process, making it a grassroots initiative. And three, the actual structure of design tokens was based only on my point of view, making this a single-person system, not system for everyone. So why should anyone care at the first place? So I broke all of the rules I told you a minute ago. That's why I'm telling you them right now, to let you not repeat my mistakes. At that moment, it was just not appropriate time or way of doing it. And it sometimes happens, you know. People may have a lot to do, product may have different priorities, or something just doesn't click. That's why I think collaboration is sometimes difficult to pull off, especially when it's highly required. But let's get back to the good vibes. Another hook that is really close to my heart is that design tokens keep everything consistent, easy, and fast, like nothing else. If you did everything right, followed the methodology, and executed it both in design and code properly, I promise you, everything will become only more consistent, simpler, and faster than ever before. If you got a problem with at least one of those aspects, so either you want to make your system way more consistent, or you seek simplification in structure or execution, or you just want to speed up how things are built, Then I would give tokens a shot, if I were you. Personally, I was discovering all of those hidden gems gradually and on the go while building stuff. And firstly, I got hooked just by the fact I could never again worry about dark mode in my life. I hated dark mode, and I want to have it recorded. And because of the fact that I have to always manually prepare the components, manually keep track of the changes, and in general, always have dark mode in the back of my mind. With semantic tokens, it's a matter of a single proper setup. And that's it. Nightmares gone. Everything rethemes automatically, like on the slide. Then another mind-blowing realization I got was around typography and breakpoints. Before, I, and probably many of you here, used to create all of the needed typo styles for each breakpoint separately, and then swap them for responsive design manually, for example, in Figma. With tokens, you can set up a single header primary and what values it should take. Then it automatically changes the size based on the breakpoint. So it's 84 on desktop and 40 on mobile. Everything within a single automated style. Pretty cool. And I adore that most of the consistency, simplification, and speed are determined at such a low level of the system. And then everything else just inherit this, being as cool as foundations they are built from. But to really feel the difference in consistency, simplification, or speed, everyone must fully understand them and use them as intended. So if you got a feeling that for any reason it may be difficult for your team to learn new foundations or to keep using them properly, I would probably pass on design tokens then. You may put yourself and your team in a really awkward position while forcing everyone to do so. The reasons behind it may be so different, though. It may be about the size of your organization or the way it's structured, about existing habits or processes, or just about lack of your time and focus to help people during transition, or many, many, many other reasonable red flags that you may encounter by yourself. On my second try with implementing design tokens, I got stuck right on this one. Within the product that I was currently in, there were so many things going on, and everyone was working at full speed. At the same time, I've been reorganizing the design system, and it seemed to be a great time to incorporate some improvements, level ups to the system. The process went smooth, surprisingly. Tokens landed first on Figma, then even on production. But that's the second stop I hit. That's unfortunately all what happened. Because of the rush, there was not enough time or space to introduce the new system to everyone. And the other way around, of course. People didn't have time either to hop in and understand it by themselves. So in my case, rush and deadlines disrupted the full adaptation of the system. And I couldn't help it, because my time with this product came to an end, and I moved on to a different challenge. As I said at the beginning, life of a designer within a bigger agency. And actually, this could be a standalone red flag as well, probably. So even if you incorporated design tokens into your system properly, there is always the other side of the coin. People. People that need to know how to use it, feel comfortable doing so, and first of all, have time to learn it and get used to it. So, the last green screen for today. My hot take is that design tokens are the best thing that can happen to the new system. If you are working on a product that doesn't have a design system yet and you are building it from scratch, so you have a clean sheet of paper to write anything you want on it, then design tokens are probably the best thing ever that could have happened to you. Of course, you still need to be aware of the red flags, but the potential number of them is really limited, just by the fact you got a fresh start. And even if you are not going to use the full power of tokens, even if you limit the scope to, let's say, just colors, it is still an excellent idea to consider them from the very, very beginning. I want to mention one important detail here, hopefully obvious to all of us, but still, I will point this out. When I see a brand new product that is still under heavy design and development phase, then I almost always pause every design system activity possible. We can talk about some small style guide or maybe small UI kit, but that's all. Why? Because system is not important on that phase. And even if someone thinks differently, then we can argue. That's the second best thing to do in my life after playing video games, arguing with people. But unfortunately, still we have not enough elements to work with. Things just barely started for this product and system. When the product passes this phase, so got some first screens built, got some functionality, maybe even got released, then it's a perfect time to start building a fresh system on top of a fresh product. Because you got your first elements to analyze and tokenize, first patterns can start emerging, and the system and product can naturally grow together from that point. So if you have a product that doesn't have any system yet, then I would highly consider design tokens to build design system foundations. You may check all of the potential benefits while keeping the effort and risk on a relatively low level. But what should we do if there is something already in place? Well, I would say that introducing them into an already established system will be difficult. If a product has already developed system that people are using in design and code, I would risk a statement that this is already too late. It's always challenging to find resources to refactor already coded stuff, and by resources I mean time, people, and trust. And it's true especially for design system foundations. Pretty crucial thing. And don't take me wrong on that. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's really, really difficult. But if the whole team really wants it, you are prepared to get dirty, to flip your system upside down, and spend as much time as needed to complete the full tokenization, then yeah, I guess you can do it, right? Many companies did it out there with a great success stories. Success stories, yeah. Do you remember the system from the first example? which I wanted to inject tokens after variables release. Yeah. I will tell you my secret, but don't tell anyone, OK? If I could go back in time to that exact moment, I would never try to introduce tokens into that system. This single random decision caused so many problems, frustrations, and wasted time. And it was just not worth it. It was just not worth it. I wasn't considering a lot of stuff that, for example, reworking foundations of this system will require whole Figma files rework as well. That after having tokens, we would need to rework every component and apply tokens to non-componentized areas of the product. Everything both in design and code. And of course, everything would go smooth and without issues, right? Like everything in life. That was unnecessary risk that could be easily avoided, but by just not taking this idea. I hope I didn't scare you too much with this, but I wanted to visualize why I think it's difficult and most of the time not worth taking the risk. Unless, as I said, the whole product and team focuses just on that. Then, yeah, go for it and make it possible. But still expect road bumps. So, is it really worth it to choose design tokens to all I've just said to you? I would love to say, yeah, of course, go for it. Because I love them. I really do. But we can all clearly see that the decision may be at least problematic. Design tokens seem to be a high-risk, high-reward solution. And there is nothing bad about that, of course, but you need to know it. You need to be aware of that before you make any kind of related decision. I strongly encourage all of you to give design tokens a chance, but to never ignore even the smallest red flag that you may face, like I did a couple of times in a row. So, good luck with design tokens, and thank you for listening, guys.